Hello and welcome to our community meeting for Open Service Mesh. Today is June 8th, 2021. I'd like to remind everyone this call falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct. So please be respectful to each other in your conversations. We got a pretty good lineup today. We're going to go, obviously, we'll go through the roadmap. Then we're going to talk about, I think we got a quick demo or something to demo by Johnson. We'll show some of the new Flagger integration coming up. And before we jump into the agenda items, I would like to, let's see if anyone new to the call would like to introduce themselves and provide some background and maybe what you're interested in on the project.
Me?
You new to the call?
Yeah, my name's Johnson.
Yeah, I guess you could.
I think I've joined this call once before. I don't usually join this call, but yeah, I work on the, I'm in Microsoft. I work in the OSM team, OSM SMI team. So yeah, I just joined about 2 months ago, and happy to meet all of you. And today I've got a demo for Flagger integration with OSM. So it's a work in progress. There's a couple of kinks I have to iron out, but making good progress.
Awesome. I think we're looking forward to that. Okay, anyone else that'd like to introduce themselves? New to the call? Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and talk about the roadmap where we're at. We got a couple of highlights that I want to just kind of go through. You see on the screen, just kind of going to highlight some of what we have in progress for our milestone, which is v.o.10.0. And just quickly highlight some things. I know I like to call this one out. So we're kind of leveling up the installation debugging process, and we're going to start adding the Verbose flag to the install. So again, that'll give you a lot of details about what's happening during the installation process, and hopefully allow you to debug things faster. Another one that we want to highlight here too is the whole OSM upgrade installation lifecycle. So we're working on through the CLI to be able to update the OSM control plane, to new versions, upgrades, patches, etc. So all that work is being done, and that's going to be much smoother experience going forward, working with OSM. And I'm not sure if it's in this repo, but we do have our docs repo. So just let everyone know, we're like revamping the doc site that's hosted, that is hosting the openservicemesh.io. And so we're really focused on the site experience and making sure that you get to the information that you need easily. So let me just show everyone that if they're not familiar with it. So again, we've kind of moved the docs into their own repo, and we got a ton of tasks going on in this project as well. And feel free to, if you got issues about what you're seeing on openservicemesh.io, go ahead and it'll be quicker or better for you to actually drop those items into the OSM docs repo for us to work on. So just want to highlight that. Next, project. As Johnson mentioned, he has a demo. So we are going to be talking about some of the Flagger integration that's in flight. So I know that's been a highly requested feature for OSM to support the Flagger progressive delivery. So we are working on that, and we're close to making that available to each other. But I won't steal Johnson's thunder. He's going to kind of demo that and go into that in detail later. And then let's see, let's just kind of finish up. So we're thinking about high availability. So we're looking at that design, and you can kind of dig into that item. But again, we're looking at the best kind of architecture for replicas, the pod distribution budgets, affinity rules, etc. So we're trying to make the control plane as highly available in the cluster as possible. One thing that you won't see here that I want to highlight, I'll throw this into the the chat here. I can find chat. There we go. Sorry about that. Sneha, one of the maintainers, she actually recently did a demo with the Dapper team on the Dapper community call last month. And so she showcased the OSM and Flagger integration. And so please take a look at that link. That link will take you right to Sneha's demo. And so she kind of shows off the whole inner workings of OSM along with the Dapper sidecars as well. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. And I know she's either further enhancing that whole experience as well. All right. So with that, I think we're done. We kind of like just the highlights here in the current milestone. A couple of things we can look at too. We have our v.0.9.0 RC2 release. And one thing I'll highlight here is we now have the enable egress policies. So we can now put some controls around pods as they egress out to endpoints that they wish to go to. And then we talked about Flagger. So you were curious, here's the issue. And then again, Johnson's going to get into this here in the future. All right. Not seeing the agenda. I guess I can go to it. Anything else I may be missing, Bridget, to discuss? I think we're good.
I think you've got it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, without further delay, Johnson, the floor is yours. Show us all the goodness you've been working on with the Flagger team and the integration with OSM.
Sure thing. Let me share my screen.
Yep. I'll go ahead and stop mine.
You seeing my screen? You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, this is how Flagger, this is how Flagger works. So let me pull up. We don't have docs yet, so I'm just going to use a Linkerd example because it's a close equivalent. So what Flagger does is, you've got your pre-existing, let's say, primary application, but then you want to have a progressive, delivery. You want to progressively shift over your data, your traffic to Canary, and then you might want to shift it in increments of 5% over a period of 60 seconds or 60 minutes or 6 days. And what Flagger does is it will leverage different service meshes, OSM, hoping OSM will be the next one. And it would basically, it would also, so it would leverage a service mesh as well as the service mesh's Prometheus metrics. And what it would do is it would check, it would, in every X number of periods, it would query Prometheus. What's the percentage of success for Canary? Oh, it hit the threshold. Okay, let's increment it, shift more towards Canary. So that's what Linkerd does. That's what Flagger does with all of the different service meshes. And the steps are not that difficult, to work with OSM. And so basically the demo is, I wasn't able to delete my cluster and then, recreate the fresh one in time. So, and that takes quite a while. So the creating a new cluster takes quite a while. So, I'll walk you through the steps I did. So basically I deployed OSM with Prometheus enabled. And after that, I deployed Flagger to the OSM system namespace. So, I just said, hey, Flagger, please be deployed and please use SMI, as the mesh provider. So, because, OSM implements SMI. And the Prometheus metrics that you will need, all of them are here. So this one installs Flagger as well as a bunch of CRDs, it also installs the Flagger CRDs that are required. So, okay, we're done with that. So there are no changes, so that passes. And then after that, you're supposed to, so basically, if you can see, the picture here, Flagger queries the service mesh for Prometheus metrics. However, we've only deployed OSM with Prometheus enabled, but we haven't defined the custom metrics we have. And Flagger requires these custom metrics to be implemented by a service mesh. So the contract between Flagger and service meshes is, you need to have request success rate, custom Prometheus metric to be defined, and request duration. So this one is basically the success rate and duration of the canary deployment. So we don't have that. OSM does not implement that. Thankfully, Flagger comes with a nice CRD for us to leverage. So, so basically leveraging Flagger CRD, we could say, we say, okay, we define the Prometheus metric request success rate to be this equation, OSM request total divided by OSM request totals that are not 404s divided by, you could do whatever you want there. OSM requests that are not 404s divided by all OSM requests times 100. While request duration is OSM, we just, use a histogram and then we try to get the duration of the requests. And we create those custom metrics required for analysis. And then we create a test namespace. So the test namespace is where application actually lives. So the primary and secondary. So this one lives in the test namespace. We create a test namespace, enable metrics for that. And then we create a deployment. So we create the primary, we create the primary application. We're all good with that. And then we generate a load testing service. So the load testing service is what it'll do is it'll repeatedly send traffic, hitting both the primary, hitting the primary for now. It'll just keep on spamming primary. So, I've ran all of the, I've just run all of these commands. So, and there's been no changes. And after that, you create a canary definition. So basically now we have everything except for the canary portion of the chart. So what does a canary custom resource look like? So basically we're saying, hey, Flagger, we're going to use this canary custom resource. Please leverage SMI to do so. And we want to, basically the name of this primary resource, primary deployment is called pod info. We want to have a custom canary deployment on pod info. So we want to have a canary version of our primary deployment, canary version of our primary deployment. And, please ensure that the canary deployment succeeds within 30 seconds, the maximum number of failed metric checks before, you roll it back. And, each time you check, if it's successful, please increment it by 5%. And these are the metrics and criteria that you will be using to, we instruct Flagger to basically look at, hey, we need, 99% of the successes, non-404 actually, 99% of the metrics need to be successful, and please check it every 1 minute, and please ensure that the P99 is not more than 500 milliseconds, and please check that every 30 seconds. So when we deploy that, I'm getting errors. So this is the only thing that is preventing me from running in. I'm getting errors because somehow, there's something wrong with the traffic split, the traffic split resource that Flagger tries to create. So Flagger would try to create this traffic split resource and route them into these, into primary and sec canary. That's the only thing that's blocking me. And according to Stefan, he responded pretty quickly. Seems like I've got a version mismatch, but I've set it to V1 Alpha 2, so I've set the version correctly, but I'm still hitting the error. So, but yeah, once I get this thing done, boom, we have a positive demo, end-to-end demo for OSM with Flagger, So once I fix that, I don't know what the error is. Maybe it's a versioning error, where we're going to be able to see this one basically, we're going to see the more and more of the traffic gets shifted to the canary deployment rather than the primary deployment. So all of this You can do all of this by leveraging just two CRDs that Flagger provides, the Canary CRD, as well as the custom metrics CRD, required for Canary analysis, for checking the deployment. Right, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
I don't think so. None for me. But hey, this is awesome. So I get it. We're this close, right? So hopefully we can get that sorted out here in the future. And then I know we talked about where the documentation will live. So looks like we'll be putting documentation on the Flagger site as well, and then cross-linking from our openservicemesh.io docs as well. Yeah, if you're not new to,
Awesome.
if you're new to Flag, Josh, I guess I'm just gonna throw out some questions and maybe you can answer them. So it looks like you were triggering off of 404. That's a very common response, but I'm assuming, hey, look, you can instrument your sites to have a custom response code, and you can actually trigger off of that as well. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, you can say, basically you can say that, you can actually be more fine-grained with that. So we have something called OSM metrics, not this one, metrics. So basically, I am leveraging, so with the metrics that I've just created, the Flagger metrics that I've just created, I've defined, I use this equation, right? So what I'm saying here is OSM request total. Please, count all of the OSM, requests that head towards destination namespace. It's destination namespace test. It's somewhere here. So basically, please, you can define this to be something hard, something else if you want to, and basically, you could have response code. That's something that we support as well. So these are all pre-built OSM metrics that John here, who's in the call, built. So you could say for Canary analysis, you could restrict the metrics to be, you could restrict Flagger to only look at HTTP requests that have certain response codes or heading towards certain destinations, or heading to or coming from certain pods, or coming from certain certain namespaces, or it could even be a kind. It could be all deployments or all daemon sets that go towards a namespace. So it's pretty rich. You could do quite a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. What do you think, like time frame wise? I know we got to get that last mile. I think maybe a week or so.
I think so. I think a week or so. And Stefan responds pretty quickly. He's in Europe, so and he and I will continue discussing and working together for the rest of the week. But yeah, it seems like there's just a version mismatch, of OSM as well as the SMI version being used by OSM and the SMI version being used by Flag. I don't know which one's which one's being. I don't know what. But they're both using the same. Yeah. There's something wrong with the versioning, basically.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get that taken care of. So, okay. Awesome, John. Thanks for giving us an update. Again, I know this has been functionality a lot of the community's been asking for. So looks good that we were close to crossing the goal line with this and getting it out there.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Okay. So I think that's the end of our agenda. We'll open it up if anyone has any comments and or questions they want to ask the community. Feel free to do so. All right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Mudeep.
I have one small query. So I want to ask that, like the documentation website what we are using. So is it the final thing or it is still in under active development? So because every like it's like every time I see a new bug in that. So like the search box and that basic things were not working. So I was wondering like it is the final draft or final website or it is active development.
Yeah, it's actively been being developed. I kind of mentioned that at the beginning. So yeah, if you go to the Open Service Mesh GitHub site, you'll see that we now have an OSM docs repo, and there's a lot of activity happening there. So we're kind of revamping the whole site experience, and so you can kind of follow the issues there as well. So yeah, we hopefully we're going to be close to complete here within the next couple of weeks is the goal. But as you know, with content, as things changing, it's going to be a constant, handshake of, as we release features, add new features, and then updating it. But to answer your question, yeah, we're totally revamping it. So you may see links change. We do have a writer who's working with us, and he may change some of the look and feel, but we hope to stabilize it in the next month or so.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So because actually I was following the GitHub links, and after that I started followed that website. So there was some difference in that. So that's why I
Yeah.
asked. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, and any feedback, like if you are going through it and you see something doesn't flow right, or you think there's some information that's kind of disjointed, feel free to, on that OSM docs repo, go ahead and post an issue, and we'll take a look at it.
Oh, and if it was you who did open that issue when our release tab was not redirecting to the right place, and at the time we weren't using the release tab, and now we are, we have corrected that, and I'm going to put an amended comment on that just so that that's current on GitHub as well.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, thanks for bringing that up. Okay, if there's no other further comments or questions, I think we can go ahead and end the call. We will reconvene in July. I think July 13th is the second Tuesday. I think that's the cadence we have. So look forward to seeing everyone there. Again, prior to that call, if you got any agenda items you want to discuss or demo anything that you're doing, feel free to go ahead and add that to the doc, and we'll make sure that you get accounted for on next call.
Hopefully we have, I have the Flagger integration OSM working by then. Excited.
All right, so tune in. So Johnson is gonna have Flagger fully installed. So all right, so we'll put that on the list. You're on the list now, Johnson.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and end the call. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. And again, next call will be July 13th. We look forward to seeing you. Have a great rest of your day.